welcome back to my channel. We are back in my car for a story time video. People have been wanting me to get back into these story times, and boy do I have an interesting one for you guys today. I've been contemplating if I was even going to talk about it, just because this is like opening a whole brand new can of worms that I feel like I have already left in the past, and it is the past, but I feel like this would also be very educational, so you guys can try to avoid all of these red flags that I missed or that I just didn't really pay attention and that I totally ignored. And so this is to help stylists coming up, and you know, you don't have to put up with a lot of this stuff, and I don't know, maybe you'll get something or learn something from this video. So as a disclaimer, I will not be mentioning any names, so I will not be mentioning the salon name or the salon owner name. Yes, so I am going to share my side of the story. It is my, story to tell from my, personal experience, and this video isn't going to be like bashing the salon owner. It's not going to be bashing the salon. It's just my experience, and if it can help anybody, then, that's like the whole purpose of this video. Or, if you just want to watch it and you're here for the achievement, this can be also for entertainment purposes. So enjoy. So I want to start off this video as well from the very beginning. So I had wanted to work at the salon. I had found their Instagram page, and they looked really nice. It looked like it was poppin'. All the stylists looked like they were having a good time. They were showing like cute videos of them doing hair, and they were doing different techniques, and they were mixing formulas and all this stuff. And I was like, that is so cool. Like, I want to work at the salon because like that's what I want to do. I want to specialize and become an independent stylist. And this salon looked to me at the time like the it salon. And I went ahead and I saw that they had posted that they were looking to hire an apprentice, and I was like, okay, perfect. So I went in for the interview. I remember going into this interview and looking at the building on Instagram. I thought the building was going to be bigger. It actually was pretty small. It was like a little mom and pop little tiny shop. And I walked in. It's an older building, and it was actually really small inside, and it was a very weird layout, like just the way it was laid out. But you walked in, there's a little reception, and like the salon owner's station was the first thing you see when you walked in. And I remember like going in and being like, what a weird smell. It was a very earthy, urban type of smell, and I was like, okay, this isn't at all what I thought this place was going to be. I thought this place was going to be a little bit more bougie, a little bit more upscale, but this is cute. Like, it's a cute little place. So I sat down for the interview. The salon owner came, she interviewed me, and basic interviewer questions like, okay, so how long have you been out of beauty school? Just like all the regular stuff that, people ask you. And one of the other questions was, what sets you apart? So I explained, what I thought set me apart was that I really liked social media. I loved marketing and promoting. I had been doing it since I was like 15 years old. I'd been doing YouTube. I kind of understood marketing and promoting, how to put your name out there, how to grow your business name, and like all this stuff. I knew how to edit videos. I knew how to create logos and how to do cool things like that. And she was like, yeah, like that totally sets you apart. That's very good. But I also did explain to her, if you guys had seen that story time, when I worked as an esthetician, I got taken advantage of because of those skills. I got hired at the esthetician place that I worked at because, one, the lady thought that I was pretty, and two, because she thought I had a lot of followers, which would bring her business. And then she also, which I don't really have that many followers, just they think to them, a couple thousand is like a lot of people. And it also was because she thought she could use me for like editing videos. So she took advantage of me and didn't want to pay me for editing like her 4-hour long video. And I told the salon owner in the interview, I got taken advantage of with this situation. I don't want to get taken advantage of, but that's something that I feel like sets me apart, is that I am able to do that. And, if you want to run me a check, I will happily do it for your business. And so she was like, no, yeah, like that definitely sets you apart. And that was pretty much it. I left confidently, you know, I had dressed the part. I thought I had cute makeup, my hair was done, I had a cute outfit, and I was like, you know, hopefully I get this position because this is like what I want to do. I want to become an independent stylist, and I want to get into doing hair color and doing all that kind of stuff. If you know, in this industry, it's really hard to get into it, and it's really hard to find a good mentor because nobody wants you to be successful and nobody really wants to share that education. They always want you to do good, but never better than them. And I was like, you know, hopefully this lady seems nice enough, and hopefully, you know, I get the job, and this is what I want. So as for the job wasn't paying very much. I was only going to be making $7.25 an hour. I was only going to be working 2 to 3 days out of the week, and it was only going to be for like 4 to 5 hours a day. So, and then it was switching off because it was me and another girl that was going to be assistants. So she was going to have 2 of us. And with that kind of pay and those kinds of hours, and just with the schedule that's just not very steady, it was very hard for me to find a job that I could also have part-time. So I could not have 2 part-time jobs. It just, the hours weren't adding up. And at the time I was living with my parents, which was an hour away from where this salon was. So I was driving an hour to and from like all the days that I was working. So it was a lot, and I couldn't find another job. And so I was like, okay, well, these are the sacrifices, you know, got to pick your battles. And this was one of the battles that I was wanting. I wanted to learn how to do this. So I was gonna do the drive, and I was gonna put up with it. I ended up I won't say my assistant position was totally awful. It wasn't that bad of a gig. I mean, I was doing things that I feel like was really like what I signed up for. Like, for instance, she treated me more like a personal assistant than an actual assistant. So I was making her dinner reservations, I was running her errands, I was doing things that, in my opinion, was not part of what I signed up for. Like, I signed up to help you foil, I signed up to rinse, blow, dry your clients and style them out. Like, I thought that's what I had signed up for, but apparently not. I had signed up to do personal things. I would even like paint the walls because they would get stained with hair color, and she'd be like, here's a can of paint, go paint the walls if you have nothing else to do. And it was just like little things that I'm like, oh, okay, like this is not what I had signed up for, but whatever. I was just rolling with it. And I was young when I got the position, so I just kind of kept my mouth shut and just was like, okay, whatever you want. And I can't say she completely treated me bad as an assistant because I think I was one of her favorites. And I think she really liked me, so she, for the most part, was nice to me. I can't say the same to the other assistant because sometimes she'd be a little snarky. I mean, of course, she had her snarky comments that she would make, so she wasn't a completely, like, nice lady. She was definitely had her moments, but I can't say, like, all the time, 24/7. She was that lady from Devil Wears Prada. What's her name? I don't even remember her name, but I can't say she was like her 24/7. Miranda Priestley. She was not a Miranda all the time. You know, I wasn't really learning much from her. She was not that great of a mentor. I mean, it definitely was a job, and I feel like I learned like my basics, but I really was not learning everything that I thought I needed to learn. I wasn't learning your basic levels of color. Like, when I did the interview, I told her I know absolutely nothing about hair color. Like, you're gonna have to teach me pretty much everything because I don't know. And I mean, that was like one of my flaws, but I still got the position. So luckily, the other apprentice, she was a little bit more ahead of me. She was a little bit more knowledgeable. She actually was a lot more knowledgeable than me. And she helped me a lot throughout this whole thing. She told me how color formulas, levels, she would show me like techniques and how I needed to do things. And she would really break it down for me. Like, she was good. And she still needed help. She was in an assistant position, but she really like understood it because she had done other apprenticeships. And I will do a little side note saying that the girl that had done all these other apprenticeships, she said that this particular one was the worst apprenticeship that she had ever done because this lady literally explained nothing to her, and it was awful. So I'm not gonna say anything except that on my free time when I wasn't helping her, the other girls in the salon, they would tip me out if I would help them do like services too. So I was making a little extra side money, which is what I needed because like I said, I could barely make my car payment every single month because this lady was like not paying hardly anything for all the nonsense she had me doing, and plus her little side things like making her dinner reservations. With that being said, they really helped to break everything down, and I learned a little bit more than my basics when it came to hair color, and I feel like I had learned a lot from the other girls, not necessarily from the owner. And I loved the girls that I worked with at the salon. That was like one of the main reasons why I really I knew I needed to grow and I needed to leave that place because it was hindering me from growing. But I literally just could not, like I didn't want to because I was so comfortable and I loved all the girls that I worked with, minus the owner. And that was like the main reason why I just couldn't push myself enough to leave. Instance even where I think I had put it on a story time, the first time that I had messed up doing a hair color on a client. And I will say that, I mean, I don't know if you would blame it completely on the salon owner. She was my mentor. She knew I didn't know exactly completely what I was doing, and she kind of threw me to the wolves and told me to start taking on clients if I wanted to start making money. And so I started doing this client's hair. She had a ton of hair. I'm talking like super long hair below the waist, like it was super long and it was thick and it was a lot of work. And I was like, okay, whatever, I'm gonna do it because I was trying to prove a point. I was trying to like, you know, say I can do it. And she, being a mentor, I feel like should have stayed there and watched me if I needed any kind of guidance or anything, and she didn't. She was like, bounce, I'm out, have fun with that. And she ended up getting mad because that client got mad, and it was a whole thing, and she pretty much told the other stylist to kind of take care of me, to like handle it. So every time like there was a boo-boo or a hiccup and I needed help from like somebody else that was above me that knew what they were doing or like knew more than me, she didn't really want to take accountability or responsibility for me. She wanted the other girls to try to cover me and take control of the situation for me, which to me was super unprofessional because like, you're my mentor, you're my boss because you are paying me hourly, and you don't even want to take accountability for me. Like, you don't even care if I put out crappy work or if I'm giving your salon a bad name or a bad rep. Like, you don't care. And that to me was just not good, and it was one of the red flags that I should have noticed. Like, this lady really doesn't care about me. She's literally just using me for the cheap labor and just to like help her and do her clients and run her little errands that she wants me to do. So I was like, okay, well, enough is enough. I had apprenticed. The contract, the way that it was written, it was a 2-year contract. The first 6 months I would be apprenticing under her, and the next year and a half I would end up doing booth rent. So the first 6 months apprentice, the next 6 months I would be paying $175 a week for my boothly rent. I was renting a chair. And then the other last final year I would be paying $230 a week, which is a lot of money, you know, if you think about it. So I was like, okay, cool. I got tired and fed up because I would be taking in models, you know, these clients that I was doing that she would leave me alone, throw me to the wolves. I was paying her commission. So I was a commission stylist for a little bit while I was also assisting her. And it just wasn't fair to me either because I was paying her 60% of my earnings and I was only keeping 40%, yet I don't know what I was paying her for. I literally had to supply my own products. I had to supply my own pretty much everything. And like, what am I paying you 60%? Like, for the building, just to use the building? Because we had to supply like our own stuff. We supplied, I mean, there was bowls and brushes we could use there, but most of that, like, those were all made up of all the stylist's brushes and bowls. Like, those were not the salons. She did not purchase that stuff. It was us that we all just kind of threw it in there. So that didn't make any sense to me, why I was giving her 60% of this money. Not only that, I was a beginner, so I wasn't even charging like up here. I was charging down here. And products are expensive, you know, and it just didn't make any sense for me to do that. And we were technically allowed to use her products, but she was never stocked, and it didn't work out, and we just needed to have our own products on deck in case she didn't have a thing we needed. So it just didn't make any sense. And don't you dare, she was a very like intimidating lady, don't you dare tell her anything about how she's running her business, because you would get a whole lecture and yelled at, and you would be on her SHIT list, and she definitely would kind of hold a grudge against you, or just kind of make you feel uncomfortable when you worked there. Like, she wanted you to learn your place, you know? Like, she didn't want you to know. Don't tell me how to do things. You stay in your lane. And it just was a whole mess. So I ended up, was like, you know, F this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut my apprenticeship a month short, and I'm going to ask her if I can go ahead and rent a chair. So she said, yeah. I was like, okay, perfect. So I went ahead, I rented a chair, and the other assistant, she actually started ending up renting a chair the same week that I did. So we both finished our apprenticeship a month early, and it was kind of funny because I had heard through the grapevine that this mentor, the salon owner, had told the other apprentice, who I'm still friends with to this day, she had told her that she didn't think that I was going to get very far in this industry, that I just wasn't like cut out for it because I was like too slow, or that she just didn't think that I was going to be able to grow a clientele and be able to make a name for myself. And it's funny because I feel like I did pretty good for where I'm at right now. So I just thought that that was funny that she had said that. But I also thought it was very inappropriate that she had said that to a girl that was also assisting. Like, what a very, like, unnecessary comment to make. But whatever. So after this, I ended up doing it. Like I said, I had already been really into marketing, promoting, getting influencers, you know, I'll do a free service, free shout out, all that kind of stuff. I've always been into marketing and stuff, and I started doing it. I started getting a lot of influencers. I started doing small services because I couldn't afford a lot at the time. And I was doing good. I was making a name for myself. My hair page started getting some followers, and I started getting some hair clients. And we had always been told, get at least 3 clients a week so that you can pay your rent, cover the products, but also make a little bit of a profit. And that's what my mentality was. And I started getting, you know, like 5 balayages a week, which was like good at the time. Like, I was like, dang, I'm making money. Like, I'm actually doing good for myself. I'm making, you know, above minimum wage, and I'm doing pretty good for an independent single girl. And it was good. I'm not going to say anything. I will say that she, during the process, was a little nosy. So that was pretty much it. She really was kind of putting her nose a little bit in my business in the beginning, just because now, I don't know why she cared now if I did a good job or not, because, you know, it was like her salon reputation, and it just didn't make sense why she cared then. But she, for the most part, wasn't too, like, nosy in there. You guys, if I was going to break down every little story, there are so many little story times I could tell you to just get more of an idea of how this lady really is. But I think once I kind of got booth rent, I just kind of stayed more to myself, and I really didn't communicate or talk to her too much because I just didn't like her energy. I didn't like her vibe. She just was a mean girl. Like, it was like being in high school. She was just one of those mean girls. So I stayed in my lane, and then it became, we had these monthly mandatory meetings. I will say, if you're an independent stylist, mandatory is not a thing. They can ask you to be in a meeting. You can try to Zoom or let me know what the meeting, you know, send me a text or whatever. But if I miss this meeting, I should not be reprimanded. I don't think that is legally even a thing. You know? You can't, I mean, I'm an independent contractor. You can't make anything mandatory, and you can't reprimand me or get me in any kind of trouble, sign me up, or do anything if I miss any of these monthly meetings. So this is kind of where things start to go a little bit more down. You guys, it hadn't even been a year of me being at this place. This is all happening within pretty much a year span. So the first meeting, she would make these kind of randomly. They were kind of just very spontaneous monthly mandatory meetings. And I told her a week ahead of time, I let her know, hey, I'm not going to be able to go to this meeting because it is my dad's birthday on that day. It is the day that I don't work. It is the day that the salon is actually on the door. Even though we have our own hours, we have our own key, and we have our own stuff. We're independent. I'm a 1099 tax form. On the door, it even says we're closed that day. She decides to have a monthly mandatory meeting, but I let her know ahead of time. I'm not going to go. It's my dad's birthday, and we already have plans. And she pretty much responded to my text and was like, that's fine, you can miss this meeting, but just know next time it's mandatory, in all caps. So I just said, okay, whatever, let it be, whatever. And then I asked the girls that also, worked at the shop, like, what was the meeting about? And they said, oh, nothing, our usual 20-minute meeting, pretty much talking about how we're all doing good, make sure to keep the shop clean, that's it, let's go to brunch. Literally, you guys, I would drive an hour to this meeting. It would literally be maybe 20 minutes, and it would be either to call somebody out on something, to kind of give them a little bit of like public humiliation and to like put people on the spot, or it would just be just for nothing. Like, it literally was just, these meetings were stupid. Sometimes we would even skip them because there was no purpose. I said, okay. And then the next meetings would come on in and everything. And I started, doing a little bit more videos, little hair tutorials. I would do outfit of the day pictures. I would stand in front of the salon door. I would, obviously I had a YouTube channel, all these things. And I don't think that stuff made me successful. I don't think that stuff was making me anything. I think maybe that stuff made me a little bit more personable, but I don't think that was like the reason for me getting clients. And I think to her, she thought that was the reason why I was getting clients, and that's why I was staying booked and busy. And so she told the girls at every meeting it'd be something new. You guys need to do what she's doing. You see what she's doing? She's bringing in influencers and it's working for her. At first, it was flattering. I'm not gonna lie. At first, I was like, oh, like, she thinks I'm doing good. Like, that was kind of a pat on the back for me, where I was like, I'm just starting and she's acknowledging that I'm doing good and that I'm bringing in clients. And then after, the fourth or fifth time of her telling them, y'all need to start a YouTube channel because she has a YouTube channel. Y'all need to do this because she does that. And then it was also, I was hearing from the girls that this lady was like, what filter, what preset does she use on her pictures? I want to use that. And she was literally doing the exact same poses, same outfit of the day, same hashtag, same caption, same location, same everything on her pictures. And then I was starting to get clients telling me, oh, I thought that was like a salon thing, not just like a you thing. And I was doing all these things to set myself apart. I was an independent stylist, and I was trying to give people a reason to come to me for me, And it was like, oh my God, everything that I'm doing, all these creative ideas, everything is just, she's trying to take it and turn it into this whole salon thing. And she was pretty much trying to force everybody to do it. And nobody wanted to start a YouTube channel. Everybody was like, I don't know how to edit. I don't want to be in front of the camera. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. And she would try to force them to do it. And it just became too much. So I had made a little snarky comment saying that I was doing a little hair tutorial and I was doing a certain thing to kind of set myself apart, make myself different. And it kind of was built up anger, and that's why I made the snarky comment. And it just started to become kind of an irritating thing where I was just getting this nonsense all the time. And it was built up anger of why I decided to make that comment. And I got in trouble. And she asked me to go outside with her to talk in front of the salon, and she pretty much lectured me about how, like, I needed to be a team player, what was that comment about, and kind of trying to intimidate me to just shut my mouth and let her do whatever she wanted with some of the ideas that I wanted, which I felt like at that time was hindering my growth, because I was like, well, dang, like, I guess I can't do anything because you're just gonna take it and you're just gonna run with it and make it like this whole thing. Like, she was trying to copy and paste a lot of my ideas and a lot of things that I wanted to do to set me apart, and it was getting annoying. So that's kind of where all of the stuff kind of started to happen. And I was like, you know what? Like, okay, whatever. So I shut my mouth. She was like, are you good? Like, I swear this lady thought she was a Kardashian, and that was like her number one thing, who she looked up to. And she was like, I feel like I'm getting a vibe from you. Like, are we good? And I just kept my mouth shut and I just nodded my head. I said, I'm fine. There's like no vibe. Like, you're fine. Whatever. Like, I can't say anything because you're gonna disagree with me anyways. So it's just better for me to keep my mouth shut. So I just shut up, let it happen, and it became a thing where, the girls were like, what was that about? Like, why'd you go outside? And I told a girl in confidence, and I was like, you know what? Like, whatever. Like, she's just mad because I made a comment about her, like, taking these ideas. And I told her pretty much the subtext of it. I didn't, like, give into detail. And the girl was like, I never told the salon owner. Well, the next day, the salon owner was like, I need to see you. So she took me to her car. So we sat in her car and she had these papers. So one time while I was assisting her, which is, you know, understandable, I woke up late and I was late to work. Well, I live an hour away, so I was like really late. I woke up an hour late and then I was an hour late there. So I was 2 hours late. And she was really busy that day. I got in trouble. I got written up for it. And so when we got into her car, which I think was kind of funny that she wanted it to be super private, in a car, you know, like not even in the back room of the salon, but she was like, I'm writing you up 2 times. I'm writing you up, 1, because you missed a mandatory meeting, which I had let her know ahead of time. And I had told her, you know, you legally cannot write me up for missing like these mandatory meetings. Like, I'm a booth runner. I rent from you. I pay your bills. I pay your rent. How are you going to get me in, like, why are you yelling at me about this? Over something stupid like a meeting where I literally asked if it was important and everybody was like, no, we just talked for like 20 minutes. And then I got in trouble because I was starting drama. I made that comment or whatever. And she was upset about it. And I had let her know. I said, legally, this isn't even a thing. You can't write me up for this. I'm not your employee. And I just signed the paper. I said, okay, whatever, BS, whatever. So I went in, and this is also when I started noticing that she had followed a lot of people. And at the time, my Instagram had about 5,000 followers on my Insta. And you know, they were like potential clients, people that I had, you know, was meeting and stuff, and people that were booking appointments with me. Well, tell me why this salon owner had followed pretty much everybody that followed me. She followed everybody. And I'm telling you, I didn't think, you know, I thought maybe it was a coincidence. No, she was following, I'm not from there. She was following family members, my high school friends. Like, she was following people that she doesn't even know, that know me, that I personally know from like my little small town that I'm from. So it wasn't a coincidence. And her number one motto, her number one thing was never follow other people's followers, especially in the salon, because you're going to take away their clients or their potential clients or whatever. And I was like, that's funny that you say that because you're literally doing that to me. So whatever. I remember at that time I was getting really depressed, and I had called my coworkers and I was like, dude, she's like doing this stuff and like I feel like I'm not growing. I feel like she is really trying to bring me down, and she's really trying to just knock me down, and she doesn't want me to do good, and she's just trying to do things. I don't even know. I don't know. And she kept saying that she was inspired by me and that I remind her a lot of like a younger version of herself. And I don't even know, like, it's not even flattering because I was like, I would never want to be anything like you. And that was that. So I was like, okay, whatever. So little by little, you know, it just kept growing and growing. And then the straw that broke the camel's back was a friend of mine, a coworker that used to work with me there. She ended up deciding that she was going to open up a business with this lash tech in the area, and they were going to have their own little business. And she told the owner, hey, I'm planning on leaving, letting you know ahead of time that I'm putting in like my 30-day notice. And the owner said, like, don't tell the girls. I don't want the girls to know because I don't want this to become a domino effect. I don't want them to all start leaving. And you're not allowed to promote your business and what you're doing if you're still in my business. That girl, she didn't give enough, and she put it in the group chat and told like our separate group chat away from the owner, and she let us know, and I was like, oh my god, you know, like she's leaving. And you know what, it did trigger a little domino effect in me, and I was like, if she's gonna leave, and all the girls, that's what was keeping me there, was that I loved the girls that worked there. I was like, if she's gonna leave, like, then I can do it. I can leave and I will be perfectly okay. So I kind of started planning it where I was like, I'm gonna start looking into it. I'm gonna purchase little things. I'll purchase a salon chair this week. Next week I'll buy a mat. I'll buy a mirror. You know, I was gonna start buying like little things, and to kind of prepare myself, because within the next few months I was also going to try to plan on leaving. It's like, but you know what? I'm tired of this lady going into my followers and following people that followed me. Like, I'm so tired of this lady doing these little things, and she's gonna get even more crazy because this girl's leaving and she thinks it's gonna be a domino effect. And as soon as that went out, that news broke out, she was like, one-on-one meetings, everybody, like, I have to talk to everybody. And I already felt like I was gonna get kicked out. I don't know why, I just had this feeling that she thought I was a rotten apple, I guess, and she just wanted me out. So I had this feeling, I was like, I'm gonna move all my clients over to my own booking site, which, if in our contract, it was an amenity. An amenity to me is just something that you can use. It is not mandatory. You don't have to use their booking system. But so I was like, I'm gonna move my booking system. I'm gonna delete all my clients because I don't want her to have access to their information, and I don't want her to try to take them, kick me out, and then everybody I have booked up, lined up. She's the type of salon owner, she's the type of person, just an ugly person, that would go in and get all those clients and tell them, oh, she's no longer here, but I'll set you with somebody else. That's the type of person this lady was, or is. So I went ahead and I did that. And I guess that's what broke the camel's back. I walked in, because I paid my rent, my weekly rent. You pay, you know, a week ahead of time. I paid my rent on a Saturday. I walked in on a Wednesday, and I walked in to her being like, I have to talk to you. I had 2 clients there. It was a client and her grandma. They were both going to get their hair done. And I had 3 clients lined up that day. I was going to be working all day. And I went to the back and she told me, she was like, this is just your notice, that you have 10 minutes to get your stuff and get out. And I was like, why? She's like, I don't have to give you a reason, like nothing, just get your stuff and get out. I had told her, I said, well, why? You know, like, I don't know. At the time, you guys, I was only 20 years old when this happened. So I'm like, what did I do? You know, like, is this because I moved my clients to my own booking system? Like, I don't understand. And she's like, just get your stuff and get out. I told her that I have, you know, family in the legal situation, attorneys, pre-legals, stuff like that. And I was like, okay, well, that's fine. I'm definitely going to get an attorney and I will be in contact with you, but I will get my stuff and I will get out. And she blew up. I'm pretty sure she like blacked out and she probably doesn't remember. She would deny everything because, again, other stories. And she was like, you should look at this law and blah, 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 blah. I can fire at any time. And it's like, you can't. I'm not an employee. You can't fire me. You have to evict me. I have to have an eviction notice. I'm renting from you. You are my landlord, not my employer. I have a 1099 tax form. In that case, oh my God, tax evasion. Like, I don't even know. Like, this just didn't make any sense. And I was like, you can't fire me for whatever reason because you can't fire me. I'm not an employee. So I just was like, whatever. I shut up. I didn't talk. I just got my stuff and got out. She was hovering over me. This lady's like massive. I'm only 5 feet tall. I'm like tiny. And she called the cops on me. She told them that I was an employee. I was being like a disruptive employee, which wasn't even true. She started telling them what I was wearing, like, all this nonsense. Like, literally, this lady is crazy. Like, she started going crazy. And she grabbed my keys, took her salon key, and just, like, left my keys go. And I was like, don't touch my stuff. Like, lady, like, what do you think I'm gonna do? Like, I'm getting my stuff. I said, I need that key because I got stuff in the front locked up that I need unlocked. And she was like, no, just leave your stuff. Here, I'll give it to you later. Like, no, 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 no. I had heard stories of how she totally just like stole this girl's stuff and kept it just because she could, just because she thinks she has that much control. And I was like, no, like, I'm not gonna let you keep my stuff. Like, I have like this is at least $1,000 worth of product. Like, you're crazy. So got all my stuff. I got in trash bags. The minute a coworker came out, the minute my coworker came in to go to work, she totally like acts from 0 to 100, guys. She totally, or 100 to 0, she totally chills out. She's like, do you need any help? Like, do you need a trash bag to help you take it to the car? She told the other girl, help her take her stuff to the car. Like, I'm like, I don't even know who this lady is anymore. Like, she's literally bipolar because I don't understand. Like, first she was so angry and now she's like offering to help me take my stuff to my car. And I remember just being like, this lady's crazy. I went to the front. I had told my clients, hey, like, stuff's going on. I'm going to need to reschedule you to a different day. They had already paid their deposits for their appointment and like all this stuff. And she literally like ran to the front and was like, no, like, they're going to get in. I'm going to give them to another stylist and they want their hair done. She literally didn't even let my clients speak for themselves. She was speaking for them. And like, my client tried to answer and she spoke over her. Like, she was just being so crazy. And I was like, okay, whatever. I just looked at my client. I said, it's fine. Like, if you, whatever. I ended up hearing that they messed up their hair, and I ended up fixing it later on. But I did see the police circling. I should have stopped. I was on the phone with my sister who like knows legally about everything. She was like, send me a picture of your contract. Like, I will try to go over it and see, you know, what can be done, or like if this is even okay. And I didn't realize it then, but now I'm like, I should have just waited for the cops, because the cops would have told her she can't kick me out. I have to be evicted, and she was in the wrong. But I didn't know. I was panicking and I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? And I just was like, okay, whatever. So I took my stuff, I got out. She ended up telling me, she's like, you know, I'm really sorry I have to do this. And you're lucky I'm not gonna make you pay 30 days of rent. But you know, under the circumstances, like, whatever. And I just was like, in my mind, I was giving her, you know, the middle finger, but I just didn't say anything. I got in my car and I left. And then my friend was so nice to let me use her suite until I got on my feet. And yeah, so I ended up, you know, having a couple of expenses because I really had to make shit happen. I really had to make stuff happen in such short notice to be able to find a place to work, because I had to find a place in like less than 24 hours because this lady literally just went full on crazy and just like blew up and was like, get out. And I ended up pressing charges. I ended up suing her for the reason that she kicked me out. So in our contract, which I still have, and I am glad that this lady kicked me out because I've grown so much since working there. The girls that have left, they have grown so much since working there. So pretty much this is what the contract, without mentioning any names, a lot of the stuff is messed up. For example, equipment and amenities, leaser has proved, can you tell all these typo? It says has proved, not has approved. A booth, chair, mirror, shelves, chair mat, cabinets, key to salon, code for alarm, internet access, surveillance system, booking system, social media content, website, advertising, back bar products, retail products. I will let it be also known that the whole time that I was there for pretty much a full year, and on their Instagram, I only got posted once. And that was like one of the major concerns about working at that place, was that she did not care to promote us, which is fine because we're independent, but don't put that in your contract that you're gonna do marketing and promoting for us when you literally just, like, what, you're gonna post me once a year? Like, okay. And then it also says, for the thing, either party may terminate this agreement upon a 30-day written notice, which I did not get a notice. That would be, you know, the notice that you need. A written notice served on the other party. During that 30 days, the leasee is still responsible for the rent until the final day of the 30s. So that would be if I were to leave, you know, and she didn't kick me out. But either way, I was supposed to have a written notice. She didn't give me a notice. I was supposed to have it 30 days. I was like, can I at least finish out my day? And I think even legally here in the state of Texas, I think you're supposed to have at least a 3-day, if anything. And I didn't get that either. The contract didn't make any sense. Let me like read what didn't make sense. It says for a term of 24 months, starting and ending, and then it says, this agreement shall continue on a day-to-day basis until further notice of a leaser or leasee. And then it also said you had to give the 30-day notice, but then it said, this rental under this agreement will be in the amount of $225 per week. And it has to be due on Saturday at this time. If not, you get like late fees, which didn't make sense. So I'm like, okay, is it a daily thing? Because it's at a day-to-day basis, but then I have to pay you weekly. If not, I get late fees, but then I have to give you a month's notice. So it was kind of a wonky thing. I did take her to court. She did get served. And I did end up suing her for this. She didn't even show up to her court date, her court whatever we had. The judge ended up like reading over this and was like, is this it? Like, this is your contract? And he pretty much like made it seem like it was a joke of a contract, because it is. And he's like, okay, where is this place located? Like, he literally just was not having it. He was like, okay, whatever, I'm gonna grant you the money. And so obviously she didn't show up, so it turned into a judgment. So she has a judgment against her for this case, because, you know, I had to find everything. I had a lot of expenses trying to get everything figured out to move into it, and it was a whole mess. So I did have a judgment against her. She still currently has. I have not gotten paid, so if you're seeing this video, send me my money, girl. But that was pretty much it. So a lot of other stuff has happened to other girls that have worked there. They all have their own story. That was just my story. There's also little things in there, like she literally thinks that I'm out to get her ever since I sued her. She tried to play it off that I tried to sue her. She didn't want anybody to know that I legitimately did. She also thought that this Instagram that was like it was a Twitter account. This Twitter account that was bashing the salon, saying that the salon was racist and that there were a bunch of whitewashed people in there and all this stuff. She thought I made that account. It was a fake account, and it wasn't a fake account. It's a real girl, and I don't know what her experience or what her story was, but she thought that. And there was also instances where, I don't know, there was just, TDLR got on them, which is like our licensing and regulations. Like, they, I guess, went to inspect or something, and they got in trouble, or they might have gotten written up, or they didn't. I don't know. They just went and gave her a phone call saying, hey, somebody called on you guys. And she thought that that was me. I'm like, none of this stuff is me. I don't have time for this, nor do I care enough to literally try to like shut you down or like to try to do anything. But I do remember her last words to me was that like she wasn't going anywhere, that, you know, she was still gonna be here because she's, you know, an independent whatever. And she just was a terrible person. She was not a very nice lady to work around. She didn't create a fun environment. My clients ended up telling me that they were so much happier. They always felt judged when they walked in there. She just always had a stank personality and a stank attitude, and it was just not a good time. But that's my story. I'm not including all the other girls' stories, because I can name, I mean, this 8 girls left within a 3-month span. That's a high turnover rate for a salon that's only been open for 3 years. And there's a lot of other stories. I mean, maybe I'll get some of those girls to come on my channel and tell me their story, because I think it's interesting. And I don't know how people, you know, still work there, because I would have seen her treat these people like this, and I just couldn't do it. But, you know, it is what it is, and to be continued, I guess, because I haven't gotten my money. But that's the tea. There's really nothing much left, like, not that great of an ending, but I'm doing good. I'm doing better than I think that she ever thought I would be doing, and I'm here. I'm here for a good time, and you know what? Karma is you know, so I mean, I'm sure this will all come back to her, and I didn't do it because I needed the money. I really did it because I wanted her to learn that she just can't treat people the way that she treats them. And that was the main lesson that I was trying to give to her. But anyways, that is the end of the story. I hope you guys enjoyed this tea, and I hope it was worth the wait. You know, I was going through all these court things, so that's why I kind of wanted to keep my mouth shut too. But other than that, that is pretty much it. I love you guys so much. Leave a comment down below telling me what other types of videos you guys would like to see. And I will see you guys in my next story time video. Bye guys!